Live button, and it says we are live. Let me just look on my phone real quick.
On the air.
Click for views. Okay, so it says view count right there. Let me just double check in. All right, we are live. All right, cool. We are live. Awesome, guys. So what's going on? My name is Steven. I'm a realtor here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I have a treat for you guys. So this is our live edition, or I don't know if that's the right word, but we're going live tonight with Nathan and Sarah Rillo. They are just moved. Well, not just moved. They moved here. Nathan, how long did you
What's it
move here
been?
ago?
It was end of July, so is that 7, 8 months?
7 or 8 months.
Something like that.
7 or 8 months. And actually, I just went ahead and put them in the screen. So this is Sarah and Nathan. Sarah, Nathan.
Hello.
So it's been about 6 months, and so they just moved here, and they're going to be answering some questions that I get from people that are looking to move here to Tulsa all the time. So we're going to get right back to them here in just a second. But this is kind of cool because you guys are seeing the live version. All right, so you guys are seeing basically the kind of behind the scenes, because my goal after this live, and let me go back. If you guys have questions, write them in the comment section below. They will pop up and I will see them. And then Sarah and Nathan can answer those, or I can answer them at the conclusion of our live stream. Okay. So if you have questions, just write them down in the description right now. And then Sarah, Nathan, and me can answer those at the end. And then also, like I said, this is the live edition. So basically we're going to be kind of just talking back and forth. And then if you don't want to watch the live edition, because it's going to be probably about a 20 to 30 minute, episode, feel free to come back to the channel. Most likely on Tuesday, I'm going to drop a shortened version where I'm just going to basically be doing an intro, question, answer, and then any questions that you guys asked, we will just combine that all into one video. Hopefully it'll be about under 10 minutes. So it's a little bit quicker for you if you don't want to watch this long and extended kind of podcast type live thing. I don't know what I'm calling it yet, but I'm just doing it and we're going to see how it works. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and do the intro. We have 2 viewers right now. So thank you for watching. Make sure you let me know in the comment section that you guys are watching. And actually, I heard this. I actually was doing some research on how to do a live stream, and I refer to you guys as the chat. So chat, feel free to leave a comment. Is that right, Nathan? Is that what live streamers do? Okay. All right. Make sure leave me a message in the chat, yo. All right, that was really dumb.
Very
Thank goodness
cool.
I'm in charge of this because I can edit that out. So I'm going to go ahead and do the intro for our short version. But once again, thank you guys for watching so much. And I'm going to be introducing Sarah and Nathan again here very soon. So here we go. Let me get a little drink here. All right, here we go. Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Steven, the 918 agent, and we have a treat for you today. I get so many questions from people about wanting to move to Oklahoma and having all these questions that I feel like I can't really answer. So, I thought of something great. I said, wait, why don't I invite somebody on my channel that actually has moved to Oklahoma from a different state that can give you a firsthand experience what that move is like, and also answer some of those questions that you might have that's not going to come from a biased agent. I know, right? So I have on the channel today is Nathan and Sarah Rillo. They have moved here to Tulsa, Oklahoma from California, and they have been they're actually a part of the Tulsa Remote program. That is a program here in Tulsa that gives people $10,000 to move to Oklahoma, or move to Tulsa, Oklahoma. So they are part of that program, and they're going to be answering those questions about that program, Tulsa Remote, and a lot of other things that you might have. So gear in, here we go, and I'm about to introduce Sarah and Nathan. All right, that was the intro. Did that sound good?
That sounded great.
Perfect.
It sounded great. Awesome. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and bring you guys in. All right, chat, this is Sarah and Nathan Rillo. Sarah, Nathan, how's it going?
Hi.
It's going well.
Going well.
Having a good day.
Good. All right. So funny story. Sarah is actually more famous than I am. She has met Leanne Taylor, anchor here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Channel 6. And I haven't even met her. Sarah, tell me a little bit about that. Like how did that happen?
Yes. So a little crazy experience. So my job, I work in healthcare, specifically as a MRI technologist, and I used to work at a very large hospital in California. And in that hospital, I received training on all types of MRI exams, including breast imaging. So during the month of October, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, they wanted me to have a little segment with Leanne Taylor on the news and just announce that my work um, was going to be offering breast imaging and just to get that information out there that it is now available in Tulsa, Oklahoma, that we can get these patients the images they need. And so it was a very exciting experience. It was only a very short segment, but I had a lot of fun.
Hey, I'd never been on Channel 6 News, so and I've had a YouTube channel for almost 2 years, and I've never been invited to a news station. And then you just move here, and 6 months later, you're on
Yeah.
Channel 6 News, and I'm like, what the heck? So tell me one thing: is Leanne Taylor like super nice? Because she seems like she's
So
super nice.
nice.
Gosh, I
Yeah,
knew it. I
so
was hoping you were
she's
going to tell me she was like a jerk or something.
no, she is so sweet, and, the segment I had was such a short amount of time, but she made me feel very welcomed and comfortable, and it went very smoothly, so it was great.
Great. So she's awesome. Great. Great.
Mhm.
Great. All right. So we're going to go ahead and just go to the first question. And so my first question, Sarah and Nathan, what do you guys do? What do you guys do for a living?
So I work in public relations. I work for an agency called Fin Partners. I've been with them for about 7 or 8 years at this point. And so we take on various clients. I work primarily in technology and consumer technology, and with clients such as like Tops Digital, TP Link, and 2K Games. So I work on a lot of the sports games, their WWE franchise, their PGA Tour franchise, as well as some of the core gaming titles like Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, Marvel's Midnight Suns. So a lot of video game promotion is what I work on, as well as routers and other interesting things of that type.
And then I work in healthcare, so I am an MRI tech, but I actually work in a research facility. So in the morning times, we do clinical patients, and then in the evening, we do research participants. So it is a fun time.
Oh, that's awesome. So would you say, Nathan, I mean, not would you say, but your job is pretty much 100% remote, right?
Yes, for about 5 years, I was working in an office in Los Angeles, and then, of course, when COVID hit, they sent us all remote. And before that point, we'd had a few employees that worked completely remotely, but it was the exception, not the norm. But about that, about a year ago, I suppose, since it was a little bit before we moved, I had a conversation with my managers, asked them, hey, I've been fully remote for the past year and a half or so at that point. Can I make this a permanent thing because I'm looking at moving to Tulsa? And they were all on board. One of my managers now is, down in Orange County versus Los Angeles, so he's remote. The other one is over in New Jersey, so she's fully remote. So it's really becoming a very common part of our workplace, and it seems like that is the case in a lot of our industry as well. Not necessarily every industry, but PR seems to be embracing it.
Yeah, that's actually, no, that was perfect. I don't know why it's not letting me add myself in the screen anymore. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's super interesting because a lot of people that I move, and now we're just going back to the regular podcast type thing. Because I moved a lot of people that are actually in like web security, and I've actually moved two other people that are in gaming to Tulsa. It's really really interesting. So I need to ask what she does because she told me she works on like 2K stuff. So
Oh, that'd be interesting to find out.
yeah, I need to find out that. Super interesting. Okay. So I guess my next question is, were you guys always looking to move away from California, and why were you guys looking to move from California, and what were some of the suitors for other places to go?
You want to take this one?
You can take
I'll
it.
keep going.
Yeah, keep
Um,
going.
no, we were definitely not looking to leave California initially, at least. I feel like we grew up both in a suburb north of Los Angeles proper, and we're there for in my case, 30 years. And I thought that I was going to buy a house and live the rest of my life there. And I thought that we were going to be Californians until the day we died, really. But due to various factors, which I'm sure we can talk about soon, we decided that California wasn't the right spot for us. And that's when we started looking at others. And as far as other cities, we wanted to make sure that wherever we ended up was the right place for us and also was worth leaving California for, because there were still things that were, pulling at us to keep us there. So, I mean, you name it, we probably looked at it. Obviously, Texas is a big one right now. We looked at both Dallas and Austin, briefly at San Antonio as well. My mom moved up to Idaho, which I know is another hot spot. Boise has a lot of people moving there, so we looked there. Looked a little bit at the East Coast. South Carolina seemed to have some really good spots. I know Greenville is very up and coming in terms of this sort of like mid tier of city. Where else did we look? We looked at Utah,
Mhm.
uh, almost any state. I was looking up, every possible option, but eventually found Tulsa and almost immediately saw that there was something special here and a really
So,
good fit for
so
us.
let me get this right. So you looked at basically every state, every city, and finally found Tulsa and was like, all right, all the other places suck. I guess I'm going to Tulsa. Pretty much.
Sounds about
Pretty
right.
That sounds
much,
about right.
yeah.
You're like, all right, all the rest of these play. I guess we're gonna settle with Tulsa because we looked literally everywhere else. So you guys are
Yeah.
actually perfect to be on this podcast. Um,
Mhm.
but no, that's really cool. So actually that brings up another great question is what did you, because you did do research on other places. And actually let me pause right here and just because we have a couple more viewers in the live stream. So we're basically doing a live stream right now with Nathan and Sarah about their transition or their adventure from California all the way here to Oklahoma. So if you guys have questions, please put them in the chat. Or actually I call you guys the chat. You guys put them in the comment section. There we go. Put it in the comment section, and we will answer those at the end of this kind of podcast vlog thing that we're doing. So just answer those or put those in the comment section, and we'll answer them for you at the end. Once again, Nathan and Sarah have moved to Tulsa, Oklahoma from California about 6 or 7 months ago?
7 months ago,
Seven
yeah.
months ago. Yeah, 7 months ago. So going back to it. Where are we at? Okay. So you guys were actually, and this actually brings up another great question is you guys have done your research about other places. So why did Tulsa stick out to you guys so much? And why did you guys end up at the end going with Tulsa?
Sure. I think the first thing that really attracted us, you know, right off the bat before we started to learn more about what was in Tulsa and what was available was the cost of living is absolutely fantastic. But beyond that, there has to be, the cost of living is not just, well, what's the cheapest option? It's like, what's the ratio of how much you're spending to the amount of amenities and things to do and, community and culture that's available. So I think when we started looking more into what Tulsa had to offer, that's where it really became apparent that for the amount of money you would spend on a home, there's so much here that you get. And I would put it right up against, any major city and certainly just as good or better than many of the places that we looked. Um, how about you?
Oh, we actually, when we were researching Tulsa, Nathan was clicking on a bunch of restaurants, and the food here is just on another level.
True.
It is so good, and it's more diverse than we thought it would be, and we love that. And the food here has been a major positive thing about Tulsa.
Even more so than I think we initially thought. We knew that there was going to
Mhm.
be some good food here. We'd done our research, but now that we've moved here and actually had a chance to try a lot of spots and, explore outside of our comfort zone sometimes, I have no hesitation calling this a foodie city. It's
Yeah.
really a wonderful place.
All right. You heard it there. All right. So speed round real quick. Give me your top 3 restaurants you have been to so far. Top three, only top three.
Ooh. I know our number one. Our number one has got to be Dante's Woodfire Pizza behind Heirloom Rustic Ales over in the Kendall Whittier district.
Yeah.
That man makes the most incredible pizza. I put that up against anything. We went to some fancy
It's
pizza
so
spots in
good.
LA. No, Dante's is better.
It's so
Really?
good. Yeah,
All
you
right.
have
So
to get
Don,
the Casio e Pepe. That one is the best pizza I've ever had.
really? Okay. All right. All right.
Yep.
So we're going to put
Yeah.
that up on the screen in our re-recorded version so everyone can see that where that location is, so you guys can go check it out. Actually, I
Mhm.
never heard of it. So, um,
It's a truck, it's just behind Heirloom Rustic Ales, and the guy there, he's awesome. The hours for his, truck is kind of all
All
over
over.
the place, but if you can get there when he's there, it's awesome. He has great pizza.
okay.
What are we thinking
Okay.
for number 2 and 3?
Ooh, um,
I actually think even though we went there fairly recently and just the once, I think Nola's is probably in my
ooh,
top 3.
I've heard of
Over on
mhm.
Nola's.
Cherry Street, it is fantastic. Both of us were blown away by our meals.
Yeah,
That's like
Nola's
Cajun,
was
right?
great.
Cajun,
Mhm.
Yes,
Cajun style.
very
Yeah.
New Orleans inspired.
Yeah. So Nola's,
That
there's
one,
number two. Number three. We're doing
what
horrible
do
on
we
the speed
think?
round, but
I know
Sorry,
we're not very fast. I'm thinking, what do you think? Velvet Taco, Kilkenny's,
Yeah,
one of those 2
so
maybe?
Velvet Taco we do like, but it seems like when we tell people that we like Velvet Taco, they have mixed reactions, and I think it's because Velvet Taco is not a typical taco place. It's more of
right.
a fusion with, like, I don't know, they have unique tacos and everything like that, but, their chips and queso are my favorite. I love that.
Yeah, that's
We'll go
I
ahead and
love
make
it.
that our 3rd. We've been there so many times.
Mhm.
yeah, I like velvet taco too. I always get the chicken and waffles taco.
Yeah.
So
Good call.
yeah, I love that. Love that.
Mhm.
All right. So my next question for you guys is: you guys are did you know about Tulsa Remote before or after kind of deciding on Tulsa?
Surprisingly not. I think a lot of people, when I tell them about moving and being in Tulsa remote, they think that that's what drew me over, but it was really the opposite direction. We found Tulsa first and we're looking at the restaurants. And at that point, I'm a meticulous researcher. So I was Googling everything I could find out about Tulsa. And through that, I found the Tulsa remote program. And then, of course, once we started speaking with you, you were able to give us some more information on it. But it was kind of a wonderful happenstance that our situation lined up so well with what they were looking for, and I was able to, obviously apply and become a part of that.
Yeah, that is actually really, really great timing because you're like, hey, I'm a remote worker. I can, $10,000. I'll take that. That's cool. That's cool.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
so you found Tulsa Remote before moving here. How did you find this guy right here? How did you find me?
Well, okay, so part of the research that we did on any city that we felt had potential was you go to YouTube and see, what sorts of videos people are making, and through that we found sort of our favorite fun subgenre of YouTube in that every city has a realtor that makes videos about their city. Most of them are actually pretty stilted and
Corny.
corny, I would say, hopefully not to put other
Not
people down too much.
not you, Steven, you're cool.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll take that.
But that's yeah, so we found you, and I think part of the appeal to Tulsa was, we started watching all the videos you made, which were helpful
Mhm.
both in terms of seeing some of the houses, but also, your pros and cons list, telling us a little bit about what was involved. And yeah, it all sounded great, and you seemed like a actual human being on the other side of things that we wanted to work with. So when we wanted to learn more about Tulsa, kind of before we even had fully decided, I think, obviously in your videos you offer to do virtual tours, and we said, you know what, we might as well call him. Let's find
Mhm.
out.
Yeah, I remember that. Oh gosh, darn it. Here we go. Boom. There we go. Yeah, I remember when you guys called me and wanted to do the virtual tour. So, um, from all right. So once you guys decided that Tulsa was, because this is what I get this question a lot. So when you guys decided that you guys wanted to move to Tulsa, what steps did you guys do to start that process? And what, looking back on it now, did you make any mistakes? Do you wish you spent more time here, or did you overdo it, or what? Or you did think you did it like perfectly, like with the virtual tour, coming down, visiting, and all that stuff? Just kind of walk me through that if that question made sense.
Yeah, so it actually was, my job that I had lined up here, me to get here sooner than we originally planned. So we originally thinking about moving in the month of August, of 2022, and we ended up moving in June or July.
Last day of July.
Last day of July. No, last day of June.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, so we moved, way earlier than we thought, and at the time, we didn't know where we were gonna live because we didn't have a house, at that point. I just knew I needed to start my job at a certain date, and so then we not panicked, but we were definitely looking at houses
Accelerated our timeline somewhat.
Mhm.
like every hour of the day, making sure we saw any house that popped up. And then when this house that we're in now popped up, we looked at it for a while and then we contacted you, Stephen. You gave us an amazing video tour of it, and we decided to put an offer in, and thankfully we got it. So that was very nice.
I
And
think
I would.
before we had
Oh, go ahead. Go
sorry,
ahead.
you go for it.
Nope, nope, nope. You're good. You're good. I can edit all
Okay.
this stuff out. I can edit
Um,
this out. So you go ahead.
yeah, as far as the process goes, before we, I think, fully decided on coming to Tulsa, we did have a couple trips out. So we visited first in, I believe it was December of 2021.
Mhm.
So about 6 months or so before we actually made the move. And that was when we first met you. You were able to show us around sort of the different areas of the city and actually put our feet on the ground for the first time, which was really great. After that point, we still weren't entirely sure that we were going to move. Obviously, there's still a lot to decide based on that. It was the first city that we visited. So we were thinking to ourselves, do we need to go anywhere else? But we kept moving through the process. And then after I got accepted to Tulsa Remote in January, so the following month, they part of their process is actually they do hosted visits. So in hopes of enticing folks out, once you're accepted, you don't necessarily have to accept back. And so they will pay for a pair of flights to fly you and a significant other out, you know, put you up in a hotel if the budget covers that, and then they do a tour of their co-working space. They do a tour of downtown, and
Mhm.
they'll usually take you a couple places like the Gathering Place to likewise show off the city, try to convince you to come out. So we did that and actually brought both of our mothers along for that trip so that they could see it as well and give their perspective. So we had those two visits out before we finally decided, yes, this is the place that we want to be.
Yeah. So you guys did first a virtual tour with me and I kind of walked you through it. And then I actually forgot you guys came down twice. I forgot you came down before your parents did, but that's when we took that really cool
Mhm.
picture. That's one of my favorites that actually I'll post up
Love
right
it.
right here that you guys everybody can see it. But yeah, I totally forgot you guys actually came here twice,
Mhm.
which is yeah, which is cool. Um, so you guys get down here. We looked at houses, didn't find anything. Actually, the house that you guys ended up, I don't know if you know this, but the house that you guys ended up buying was actually on the market when you guys were down here. Do you guys remember that?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it
It
was on
must
the
have
market.
been. That's interesting. I
It
because
was
I
it was on the
knew. I
market.
think
Yeah.
the time we put the offer in, I think it'd been up for about a week. So maybe they'd taken it down and put it back
Yeah,
up.
no, it
And
was because
Mhm.
I went back and
that's
looked at it
interesting.
and it was active. Actually, I think your last day you were here, it was active. So you guys could
Oh,
have
Oh,
seen it in
interesting.
person.
wow.
So I'm glad you guys like it. Um,
We love our
but
house.
but let's talk about that real quick because that's kind of for people in I don't want to say just older generation, but just like pretty much not
Mhm.
doing this remote moving buying type thing. Um, even though we buy almost everything off of Amazon, you guys bought
Mhm.
your house without seeing it in person at all. You
Yeah,
guys,
so we
I mean,
bought
that's crazy,
uh,
right? And I'm the
yes,
one that
we
sell it to you. But what was that process like, and why did you guys feel so comfortable making that decision to buy without actually seeing the house? I guess technically in person, even though you saw it through video.
So we bought our house sight unseen, which a lot of people thought we were crazy for. But the video you sent us before we put in an offer, so you gave us about a 30-minute tour of our house. And it was very detailed. We felt like we had a good idea of what it looked like, even though we couldn't see it in person. But I will say that when we arrived, everything seemed bigger
Oh, good.
when I stepped in, and I'm a short I'm a short person, so all the countertops and everything like that, I was thinking, "Oh, no, I'm too short for this house," but no,
Oh,
it
no, I
ended
didn't
up
think of
being
that.
all fine and good. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
But
think of
that
that.
was
I was just
my
thinking, on
my fear was
I was thinking my point of view, like, oh, everything's, bigger, everything's bigger in Texas type deal. Like, oh, it's great. But I didn't think about, being a shorter person. I mean, Nathan, we're about the same height. What are you about? 6'1"? 6'1", 6'2"?
I have tall vibes. I'm 5'10", maybe 10 on a
Really?
good day.
Oh, I thought you were
Yeah,
about my height. Yeah, you kind of give me tall vibes. Um, Man, I didn't.
thing.
it's a
People always think
thing. They all think he's over 6 foot, but no.
That's so
I
crazy.
am, 5'2". I'm currently sitting on a pillow, so that's why I'm a little
Bring yourself up a
taller
little
than
bit.
I seem. But that
Yeah,
was yeah.
so with those videos I send my clients is they're longer, so depending on how big the house is kind of depending on how long the video is. But I go through and I open up every closet door, cabinet, drawer. I measure out rooms because I understand people have beds and side tables and end tables and coffee tables that they might want to fit in a room. So I try to measure in all those things just so people can have a better understanding. So which not, I mean, I move a lot of people sight unseen. So you guys aren't crazy, by the way. You guys aren't crazy at all.
Thank you.
I literally I literally put 2 houses under contract last week with people that are buying houses sight unseen. So, um,
Nice.
which knock on wood, I haven't had anybody regret it until Sarah, you just told me that your cabinets were too high and now I'm worried. Um, I'll bring
It's
out a
something to think
contractor next
about.
week. We'll fix that. Um, so you guys buy your house, you guys moved in. And before we talked about actually getting here to Tulsa and kind of talking about your experience, um, Nathan, do you want to share a little bit with me about the Tulsa Remote program of how you guys got, how the member or how the getting into the program was, and then also after getting in, what the Tulsa Remote program has done for you so far?
Yeah, so I mean, as far as applying and getting in, they are looking for a certain thing, which we can talk about, but the process itself is incredibly simple. So I would encourage anyone who's interested to apply because, like I said, even if they, want to give you a call back or even if they make an offer, you don't necessarily have to accept. So if you're looking around and this might be something you're interested in, go ahead and apply, talk to them about it. They'll give you more information about the city, but they have a very simple online form to apply. I did it one night almost on a whim. I'd been looking at the program for a while and kind of kept putting it off. But I said to myself, nope, I'm gonna do it tonight. And it was very easy. Um, you know, basic questions about, what draws you to Tulsa, what sort of activities are you interested in? Obviously, what do you do for work? And then at that point, I think it was only a few days later, they got in touch and said, hey, we received your application. We want to do a video interview with you. So that's really the second step is they want to actually talk to you, ask you a few more questions, get to know you and see if you would be a good fit for the program beyond just, short answer format. So I got on the call with one of their representatives, one of their recruiters, and you know, similarly, it was a very easy, casual conversation. Nothing difficult. I wasn't, having to get super complicated about things. They just want to make sure that you're a good fit for the program. And I think if I were to try and read the situation a little bit, I think having Sarah with me was a big boon because not only did they get me from the program, but they also get my wife, who is this wonderful MRI technologist. She brings that talent to the city as well. So they're looking for people who they think are going to bring something to the city, who they think are a good fit for the city to stay past the year term that you're required to stay to get the grant. And we fit that bill, so they extended the offer.
That's that's awesome, and that's why I tell people all the time is actually the process is really easy to do. So if you guys are interested in more information about Tulsa Remote, click that link right there, and it basically will tell you everything you need to know about Tulsa. And actually, in that video, it's kind of older, but there's a new housing initiative to it, and that's what Nathan and Sarah did. And basically, they got their $10,000 after they purchased their house. So I have another video that's linked into that first video. I have linked up there, so that will tell you more about that. So So Nathan, after you moved here and you got accepted in Tulsa Remote, you got your $10,000. Awesome. What kind of did you really involved with the remote program afterwards? Did you go to any of the events? Are you still going to the events? Or are you just because you pretty much already got the $10,000? So I mean,
Right.
if we're being honest, you don't. You already got it.
I think that's one of the great things that I enjoy about the program is that they are accommodating of people who want to engage with it in different ways. So in my case, I mean, we're sitting in my home office right now. So I have a space from home that I can work with a great computer setup. So I don't necessarily need it, but they do offer a co-working space right in the heart of downtown. That's
Mm.
fantastic to work out of. I actually did work out of it just this past week on Friday so that I could get lunch with a friend downtown. And great space with, printing supplies, desks, free coffee, a kitchen if you need to, bring your lunch and stick it in the fridge. So it's a wonderful spot that you can co-work out of. And at least currently, after being accepted to the program, I get 3 years at 36 degrees north. I think it was initially 12 months, but they said, well, we're called 36 degrees north, so we'll make it 36 months. And I said, sounds good to me. So you get
Whoa.
3 years of co-working space, and they do also do events. So they have some networking and
Mhm.
work-related events, which I think are more for the entrepreneur side of things because they also cater to entrepreneurs as well as remote workers. For us, we're more interested in the social events. So we
Mhm.
still haven't been to a whole lot, but we went to the welcome event at the Mayo Hotel, which was a really
Mhm.
great place where we actually met some of our closest friends now here in Tulsa. So
Yeah.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, that's what because and it's interesting because I talked to people that have been part of the program and they don't get involved at all, and it's kind of sad because their experience here in Tulsa, I think, doesn't hit the level that it could have if they actually got involved with the program and made friends and whatever. So I always recommend people that are probably half of my remote clients are with Tulsa Remote. So I'm very used to working with them, but I just, I wish some of them would get more involved because I see that people that actually get involved with the program, their experience here in Tulsa is so much greater. And so it's great that you guys made some friends and, you know,
Yeah,
definitely.
they're our closest friends right now. So,
Yeah.
we are very thankful that we met them almost right away after we moved. So, and it's funny too because they don't have like family or friends out here either. So we're each other's support system, and we both actually have a key to each other's house in case anything goes wrong.
oh,
Like
that's awesome. Are they from
they have a
California
bunch of
too?
cats, and they're from they would say their home is from Florida. They kinda
Okay.
moved around, but that would be their answer is Florida.
Now, do they see me on YouTube too?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know if they have.
It's so
I
funny.
the way they, came to Tulsa was a completely different path than we did, but, I'll have to ask them
It's
because 'cause you're
funny because
everywhere.
Yeah.
The moment you search Tulsa, your little picture pops up.
well, it's funny because I'll talk to like people and they're like, oh, dude, you look so familiar. Do you have like a website or something? And I'm like, yeah, well, actually, I have a
Mhm.
YouTube channel. Like, oh my God, you're the reason why I moved here. And I'm like, you never
But you
called
didn't get
me.
in touch? You didn't use him? Come
You
on.
never called me. Why did you?
Yeah.
But I don't bring that up. I'm like, oh, great. You guys enjoying Tulsa? They're like, oh yeah, your videos helped us so much. Thank you so much. I'm like, why did you not call me? But no, it's funny, but it happens a
Mhm.
lot. But it's okay. It's okay. It's all good. It's all good. I really make that for people that come in and want extra information about Tulsa. Um, so you guys get here to Tulsa. You're part of Tulsa Remote. You're having a great time. You've been here for 7 months now, guys. So what are some things that you guys really like about the city and things that you don't really like about the city?
I feel like I'm going to start with things I like because that's going to be a much larger and easier category for us to hit. We already talked about the food. That's been a huge source of enjoyment for us on the
Mhm.
weekends, going out and finding new places. But I think before that, if I were to have to rank things, I would really say the people here are
Mhm.
so welcoming, incredibly friendly, and we feel that everywhere we go, even if it's just going to the local quick trip People are smiling at us, opening doors, you know, saying hello, and it's a totally different experience. So that's been a wonderful part.
Yeah, the people here are so nice. So working in healthcare, I have patients, and my patient population here versus California are so much more respectful. They call me ma'am and they follow instructions. They don't give me a lot of sass. So honestly, it's been nice at work to work with this population. I love it. And just how kind and respectful people are here. The other day, it was raining like crazy in Tulsa, and I was at Walmart, and the worker there told me to pull up my car. He was gonna pack my groceries in the trunk for me, and I've never had that experience in California. They don't even offer help, so so that was just so nice to, like, have that, and I love yeah, I love the people here. They're great.
I think another one might be the traffic or lack thereof is a big part.
Yes. Oh my
Obviously, I'm
goodness.
not trying to, I always try not to be too harsh on California. It's a wonderful place. There are wonderful people there too. But part of our experience was driving on the 405 constantly. I did
Mhm.
that commute for a couple of years.
Mhm.
Sarah was doing that commute by the time we left occasionally. And that can be, you know, hour and a half on a good day one
Mhm.
way. So moving to Tulsa, where we can get downtown in 30 minutes, there's never traffic. We can get almost anywhere else that we'd want to be in 15 minutes flat. It's been very liberating to look at places on a map and not feel like we can't get there.
Yeah.
We just don't hesitate. We just say, yeah, let's head over.
The lack of traffic is life-changing. I tell my boss that, I'm like, "It is truly life-changing not having to sit in a car for over an hour every day of my life." It's fantastic.
Yeah, because I would say Sarah, because you live, so Sarah and Nathan live in South Tulsa, and actually probably almost the southern tip of South Tulsa. Um,
As far
Yes.
and
down as you can go while still being Tulsa.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, pretty much. Because I think right over it's Bigsby, right over, if you go like
Mhm.
maybe not even 300 feet or something, it's considered Bigsby. So,
Yep.
and then Sarah works in downtown Tulsa, which is basically kind of like on the other side of the city. So, how long is that commute for you? And you actually don't hit any highways either because you go up Riverside, right?
Yeah, so I hit no highways. It's about 15, 20 minutes. I leave my house 20 minutes before, I clock in, and I'm on time, so it's great.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So we talked about traffic. We talked about the cost of living because we talked about the cost of living a little bit at the very beginning, Nathan. We talked about food. We talked about the people. Um, what are some other questions that someone might ask about liking Tulsa? Um, I think that's about it. Well, let's talk about. Oh, and then we have 5 viewers here. Let me just explain to you what we're doing right now. This is Nathan and Sarah. They just moved, or not just. I need to quit saying that. They moved to Tulsa about 7 months ago from California. If you guys have questions, put them in the comment section to below. We will answer those questions at the end of this little whatever we're doing. Also, if you don't want to watch the full thing, I'm going to condense this down to a short video that we're just going to go hit the highlight of the question and answers. So if you want to come back, and we'll also answer those questions at that point. So if you don't want to sit and wait for all the questions to be answered, just leave them, come back and watch the condensed version later on. Okay. All right. Let's get to the real question, because people love hearing about the positives. People like that, but people really want to hear about the negatives. They want to hear about whatever, why Tulsa sucks. So give us some things of why you don't like, or not what you don't like about Tulsa.
So, we had to think hard about this question, but I was actually surprised with the amount of people that smoke here. It's more than
Mm.
California, and I do see a lot more smokers here than I did where we previously lived, which it doesn't bother me on a personal level, but it's just something I was not aware of. So coming here, I just see more of that. So that's one thing. And then I think another negative would be the amount of potholes in the streets. There are some streets where we are
We're
ru
going for a ride.
yeah, yeah. It is like Indiana Jones at Disneyland. It is quite the adventure sometimes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
actually
if I
funny.
had to pull one out.
When you said that, Sarah, we got 2 likes on the chat when I said tacos. So I think people
Yeah.
agree with you. People agree with
Yes.
you. So Nathan, what do you think? Do you have anything?
Yeah, my one big gripe, and in fairness, we visited first, so we were aware. The Arkansas River is a little bit dry.
Yeah.
I I think before we moved here, you're looking at Tulsa on a map, and it's like, oh, wonderful. There's this river that runs right by downtown. It goes all the way down Riverside. Beautiful. There's some water in there, but it's kind of a dirt river largely. So
Mhm.
you know, in contrast to that, I have heard they are working on it. I There's construction on a pedestrian bridge and dam near the gathering place. So I believe sometime probably in a year or so they'll finish construction and downtown should be a full river at that point. But when it's not the prettiest thing to look at. So that's my negative.
Oh, wrong one. Let me pull this up. There we go. Um, cool. So we talked about the positives, the negatives. What your guys' negatives weren't that, I was looking for something juicy, guys. I was looking for something juicy,
No, we love it
something to
here.
Yeah.
give the people, something to give the
Oh, do
people.
we have anything juicy?
No, I mean, the only other thing I could think of was the lack of streetlights and feeling like I'm driving in darkness all the time, which I'm not used to. In California, we lived right in Los Angeles City, so it's
Constantly lit.
constantly lit up. So I need to get new headlights on my car. They're not as good as they should be.
Yeah.
Sarah, I think the people like you because someone else gave us the thumbs up when you said the lights. So I think
Yeah,
people are agreeing with
they're
you. I think people are agreeing with you.
good.
All
But
right.
aside from
So
that, we're really just kind of a good fit for Tulsa. I
Yeah.
mean, the things that people generally point out, if I were to name some, there's no major sports team here. Oklahoma City Thunder is the closest, but we're not huge sports fans. And even if you
Yeah.
are, we went to a Tulsa Drillers game.
Mhm.
I think it's the double A affiliate of the LA Dodgers.
Mhm.
Lots of fun. We've got a Tulsa Oilers hockey team here if you want that. So there's options, but no major sports team.
yeah.
And then I think people sometimes mention the weather, but it hasn't really bothered us. I think
Mm-mm.
we were almost scared a little more than we should have been about the weather. Um, yeah, it was hot when we moved, but we're used to that in California. And
Mhm.
then as far as snow, which was definitely new for us, snowed I think twice over this past winter. I think that's going to be about all we get. Even then, it only stuck for a couple days, so it's not it's not overwhelming coming from somewhere that people always point to the weather as a major positive.
Mhm.
We were still able to handle it just fine.
Mhm.
So if you're watching the full version and you're watching this right now, they haven't lived here during the spring yet. So we'll
Oh
wait.
no.
We'll come back and we'll interview them again this time next year after they actually get through our tornado season.
Yeah.
So you guys came at a good time. So everything's kind of tornado season's coming in the spring, and you guys will probably call me and be like, Steven, what do I do? Which you don't
Yeah,
want
we'll
Most
hear those
likely.
sirens and freak out.
You'd be hearing sirens. Why did I jinx myself?
Yeah.
No, you guys will be just fine. But yeah, a lot more tornadoes and stuff happen. Because I
Mhm.
was going to ask you that question, but then I remembered you guys hadn't lived through the spring yet. So I'll make
Mhm.
sure to ask that second time. We'll do a recap after 1 year and see if you guys change your mind about anything. Maybe you're still going through the honeymoon stages of moving to Tulsa. Um,
Yeah.
so another thing that people because you guys don't have any kids yet, so I was going to ask you about public schools, but you guys don't have kids yet, so maybe that's something we can talk about in the future. But the other thing was the crime here in Tulsa. That's something that I get a lot of questions about. Is people see the first 48 all the time, and Tulsa's kind of like the headlining act of that TV series. Have you guys felt unsafe, or have you guys ran into any issues? Sarah, I know you work downtown, which is a place that people get their cars broken into and all that other stuff. Have you guys had any of those experiences at all of feeling unsafe here in Tulsa?
So it's funny, a lot of people that have lived here their whole lives will talk about downtown as if it's the most dangerous spot in Oklahoma. And coming from Los Angeles, it is night and day. I mean, I don't plan on it, but I could walk to my car at night in Tulsa downtown and feel somewhat okay. I mean, I wouldn't feel, like, completely safe, but in if that was the situation in Los Angeles, I would that would absolutely not be an option at all. Like, I would probably just cry and call Nathan to come pick me up. But it is funny how people talk about the Tulsa downtown and think it's so dangerous, and I look at it thinking, "This is nothing. This is nothing compared to what I was used to." So, it's definitely a lot cleaner, and I feel safe overall. So I don't know where I mean, I understand there's crime everywhere, but it's not to the level that I was used to in California.
Yeah, that's one of the questions I get all the time is, because they once again they see that show First 48, they look at statistics of, Tulsa at one point was the murder capital. I don't think it was a murder capital of the world, but it was like the highest murder rate per capita. Which we aren't a big city, so if we have like an extra one or two murders, our percentages go way up. So I think it was just one of those things that just kind of the numbers didn't lie, but they kind of lied, because
Mhm.
we just don't have as many people as other cities. But I don't know what happened. But um, cool. So I guess my last question for you guys, and thank you again so much for joining in. I think this is gonna be very beneficial to the 4 people that are watching right now. Once again, if you have questions, write them in the comment. We're almost done. We're wrapping up here. We have 5 viewers now, so ask your questions because we are about to wrap this up. So I want to be able to answer any questions. If you guys are in a seat that Nathan and Sarah were in about a year ago, this is your guys. I mean, because they didn't have this opportunity to ask questions, and I'm giving it to you guys, and I have them on here. So make sure to ask them. But I guess my last question for you guys is, if they're moving to Tulsa, is there a real estate agent that you guys would recommend to to these people to help them with their move?
Yes, as a matter of fact, there is. I'm going to expand a little bit more than that and hopefully give a real answer. So we had an incredible experience working with you, but hopefully people can get a little something from the reasons why. So I think part of what I would recommend for anyone that's moving here is understanding the different areas of the city and what the city has to offer.
Mhm.
Because I think there's something here for everyone. We're obviously down in South Tulsa, as you said. It's a little bit more suburban here. But there's, Kendall Whittier is a fantastic arts district if that's what folks are into. There's over in Midtown, if you want something a little bit ritzier, there's definitely a ritzy area over by Utica Square that can accommodate, if you're in California and you're used to going around,
Mhm.
Beverly Hills, Utica is the place for you. And I think it holds up. If you want great city living, you can, look at somewhere close to downtown or next to Cherry Street.
Mhm.
And some of those areas are incredibly walkable. So part of what we enjoyed about working with you is we had some, preconceptions about what Tulsa was going to be like just from looking, you know, however many miles out on Google Maps. But being able to have you take us around the city, definitely show us the different areas, and you pretty quickly got an idea of what we were after. And even as we would suggest some spots like, oh, why don't we go check out this place? We could tell from your face you knew it wasn't going to be for us, but you humored us, you took us over, and we very quickly realized, nope, Stephen was right. This is not the place that we want to be living at. So having that that local experience from yourself to show us around was incredibly valuable.
Mhm. You were also very honest when we did, the tours of the houses that we did go to in person. There was one in particular where we were looking at it, and just due to the foundation of the house, you looked at us and just shook your head no, and we were like, "Okay, not this house." So, we appreciate your honesty and friendliness, and it was great working with you, and we will definitely recommend the 918 agent.
Oh, that was nice. I'm gonna clip that where you said the 918 agent. It's gonna be part of my intro of like, boom, 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 the 918 agent.
There you
That'll be
go.
good. That'll be good. All right, so now we got 7 viewers. I guess people want to tag in towards the very end. So once again, if you guys have questions, I'm gonna check my phone real quick and just make sure that my link is working on my live stream. So just make sure that people aren't leaving comments as we're talking here real quick. Nope, no one has left any comments or anything. Okay, cool, sweet. You guys have anything else before I do the outro? You guys gave me a really good plug, so hopefully all these 7 people that are watching will call me to buy a house or just to ask questions.
I think one thing that we could probably comment on a little bit is the school situation. We don't have
Okay,
kids
yeah. Let's
yet,
talk
but
about that.
it was a major factor in our decision, that, starting a family is something that we do want to do in the near future. And so part of the extremely specific criteria we had for our house was to be in a particular school district. And
Mhm.
there are definitely multiple school districts here that are good. I think that is one of the negatives people bring up, is that the Tulsa public school system doesn't always have the best reputation, and we have no firsthand experience, so I don't want to, rag on them. I'm sure everyone there's trying their hardest and working with the resources they have available. But one of the huge positives for us is that we moved to the Jinx School District, which we had heard was absolutely incredible. And since moving here, I've met multiple people that went there for all of their education who had glowing things to say.
Mhm.
I also know that Owasso has a great district. Broken Arrow has a wonderful district. I think Bixby is really up and coming, and
Yep.
people and are getting, you can look at the ratings online, really great test scores coming out of all of these places. And there are good districts even within Tulsa Public Schools itself. So it is something to watch out for, I'd say, when moving, if that's a concern for you. But there are wonderful school districts here that have really great results. So it was a factor for us.
Yeah, yeah, no, and I tell, I mean, yeah, and I tell people that too, because when they come to me and ask me about, or we'll start looking at houses, and I tell them, about school districts. Um, some people are like, well, we don't have kids, or our kids are already grown up. We don't really care about school districts. But then I tell them, I said, actually, you do, because unless you're going to die in this house, and what I mean by die, like live, long age, is going to be your, retirement house type deal, not saying anybody's going to die
Or
in
a
their house,
tornado,
but
you never know.
yeah, right. But you're going to resell this house eventually. So the next people that buy this house are going to might look at school districts. So if you want to, get a high resale value, you probably want to look into school districts. So it'll basically, help to sell up your house. So even though you don't have kids, or I'm not talking about you, but other people, don't have kids yet, or, don't want to have kids, school districts still do matter, because you're going to want to resell that house eventually. And the next people that buy it might care. So that's kind of what I tell people. Little real estate tip 101. Cool. Awesome. All right. Well, you guys are going to stay on the line real quick. I'm going to do my outros real quick, and I'm going to do a little segment so I can go back and edit it in. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Total of 5 people. If you guys want to watch me do my outro, this is what I'm going to do in my, in my shortened version. Because what I don't want to do is I don't want to stop this recording and then start it all back up to do the outro and intro, because I'm lazy. So you guys will just see me mess up a couple of times, and there we go. So once again, Nathan and Sarah, thank you so much. Hold on the line real quick. I'm going to do this and then we'll log off. All right. Real quick. I know. Before we get back to the interview, I just want to tell you guys, I am a realtor here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So if you have any questions, or thinking about moving here to Tulsa, or, whatever, please reach out to me. Actually, I don't like that one. Let's try that again. We're going to take a little... Don't like that one either. Real quick, guys, I just want to remind you, I am a realtor here in the Tulsa area. So if you have any questions or concerns, or thinking about moving here to Tulsa, please reach out to me. You can go down in the description below. I have all my contact information, my social media handles, and I also have a link to Calendly that you can set up an online meeting with me, and I can explain and answer any questions for you about the Tulsa area. I would love to help you with your move to here to Tulsa, and also answer any questions that you might have. Let's get back to the interview. All right, let me just wrap this up. Once again, I want to give a huge thank you to Nathan and Sarah. They have been wonderful clients of mine, and actually have become friends of mine. And so I really appreciate them giving me a couple hours this evening to basically do this interview with you guys. Once again, if you have any questions about moving to Tulsa, please reach out to me. I'd love to help you with your move and your new adventure here to Tulsa, Oklahoma. And hopefully that this interview that Nathan and Sarah has given us helped answer a couple of questions, not coming from a biased real estate agent, but people that have actually moved here from a different state, and so they can give you their firsthand experience of what that move has been like for them. So once again, thank you guys so much for joining me. Remember to like and subscribe, and that's all I have for you guys all I have for you guys now. Steven, out. All right, we did it.
Nailed it.
All right, I'm gonna finish this up.
Yay.